प्रपन्नम कार्पण्यदोषोपहतस्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः यश्श्रेयः स्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. So please repeat the word-to-word meanings. Karpanya, miserly. Dosha, weakness. Upahata, being inflicted by. Swabhavaha, characteristics. Prachami, I am asking. Tvam, unto you. Dharma, religion. Sammudha, bewildered. Chetaha, in heart. Yat, what. Shreyaha, all good. Syat, maybe. Nishchitam, confidently. Bruhi, tell. Tat, that. Me, may. Unto me. Sisyaha, disciple. Te, your. Aham, I am. Sadhi, just instruct. Mam, me. Tvam, unto you. Prapannam, surrendered. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So please repeat the translation. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Let's read the purport. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life which happen without desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse. Who is the man in material perplexities? It is he who does not understand the problems of life. In the Garga Upanishad, the perplexed man is described as follows. Yova etad aksharam gargi avi ditvasmal lokat praiti sa kripanaha. He is a miserly man who does not solve the problems of life as a human and who thus quits this world like the cats and dogs without understanding the science of self-realization. This human form of life is a most valuable asset for the living entity who can utilize it for solving the problems of life. Therefore, one who does not utilize this opportunity properly is a miser. On the other hand, there is the Brahmana, or he who is intelligent enough to utilize his body to solve all the problems of life. The Kripana or a miserly person waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members, on the basis of skin disease. The Kripanas think that he is able to protect his family members from death, or the Kripana thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. Such family attachment can be found even in lower animals who take care of children also. Being intelligent, Arjuna could understand that his affection for family members and his wish to protect them from death were the causes of his perplexities. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still, on account of miserly weakness, he could not discharge the duties. He is therefore asking Lord Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. Talks between master and disciple are serious. And now Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. Krishna is therefore the original spiritual master of the science of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. How Arjuna understands the Bhagavad Gita as is stated in the Gita itself. And yet foolish mundane scholars explain that one need not submit to Krishna as a person, but to the unborn within Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna's within and without. And one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. The sense of purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada. So thank you all for joining today. And as you can see, we are discussing from this second chapter. So last week and earlier we were discussing from the 18th chapter. So we have completed one round of the prominent verses of Bhagavad Gita. So every verse is very important in Bhagavad Gita. But the devotees have identified some prominent verses, and by going through those, we should be able to touch upon everything that Krishna is trying to say. So we have completed one round of all the prominent verses. Now here we are beginning again from one of the first prominent verse in Bhagavad Gita. This is the seventh verse of second chapter, and here Arjuna is speaking actually. And Prabhupada says, this verse is the turning point. Turning point of what? What has been happening so far. So the first chapter, there were around close to 30 verses, and there are here, 6 verses already happened. And now the situation has changed. So what was happening so far? A very quick, brief of what has happened so far. So we all know Bhagavad Gita happened on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna was facing his own family members on the opponent side. And he is a Kshatriya. His duty is to fight, to establish righteousness. That's the duty of a Kshatriya. At the same time, he is related to them. And for whatever reason, that's the whole episode of Mahabharata, that it unfortunately so happened that the same family members, are fighting each other. This Duryodhana and the Kauravas, they were none other than cousin brothers. Like literally, the father's brother's children. They're so close. They're actually treated as one's own brother. Sometimes if we when we introduce a such cousin, we don't even tend to use the word cousin brother. We feel that is adding some gap. We'll just say it's like my brother, right? Our brothers. So now what happened within brothers? This fight is there, and it is not just brothers. Now what happened in this fight? All the elders of the family were on the opposite side, because Duryodhana was ruling the kingdom. And there are, this is all mentioned in Mahabharata, how it happened. Duryodhana, unfortunately, was the biggest cheat in history. He cheated, and the biggest cheat and biggest crook also. He was very crooked. He tried to kill the Pandavas. Yudhishthira was supposed to become the king, but then he tricked them, and tried to kill them. And then he took up the kingdom. But then, when it was found that, the Pandavas were not killed, they came back. Then he said, okay, I will give you half the kingdom. So he gives them half, and he actually gives a very barren land. But still somehow Krishna's mercy, Indra benedicts them and he builds a nice palace for them. So they're in Indraprastha. But still this crooked Duryodhana is not satisfied. He got half the kingdom. They were ruling the whole world. Still is not satisfied. He wanted everything. So the greed, how it takes, and what finally happened. He had half the kingdom. He could have lived very happily. But towards the end, he got killed along with all his 100 brothers and everyone who joined him. So what he did, he said, why don't we play a match of gambling and let's see, who will win. And Prabhupada says it is the duty of a Kshatriya, actually. If somebody challenges them to a fight or a gamble, they have to accept. There is no question of, sorry, today I'm busy, I have this busy work, or I'm not interested, this doesn't seem interesting. No. Anybody, they come and they challenge a king, I want to fight with you. Even if that person doesn't have a weapon, the Kshatriya is supposed to give him a weapon and fight. The king should be powerful on his own accord, not on the number of... yes, he will have a great military strength and everything, but he himself should be very powerful. He can't be a very weak person. So the Kshatriyas are trained to be very powerful, very, lot of valor and strength. They are even allowed to go to the forest and challenge animals, like tigers, lions, and actually even kill them. So this is all not for fun, to just kill animals, but actually the animal is considered as, one that gets killed by this kingly person who is trying to, build his strength. That animal is considered as a great citizen who has sacrificed its life for the protection of the country. And it is actually given a royal funeral. It is brought in, big palanquin, and it is a very great funeral is done, with lot of respect. So this was how the kings were trained. Very powerful, very, valiant, very, non-compromising. So if anybody challenges them to a fight, they have to accept. There is no saying no. In the same way, if they are challenged to accept a gambling match also, they have to accept. So Duryodhana, being very crooked, he thinks, okay, I can defeat them, by this match of, gambling match. We all know in Mahabharata. So Shakuni was his uncle who was on his side, and Shakuni has this special, what are they called? Dice. Yeah, special dice made out of the bones of his father. Right? He was given a benediction, whatever he thinks in the mind, that number will come. So Duryodhana had a very clear path to destroy Pandavas. He said, okay, we'll call them for a match, and my Shakuni uncle, whatever the right numbers for us to win will happen, and we can, totally devastate them. So he calls them. So, and then he says, let's do the match of gamble. So Yudhishthira had to accept. So he accepted. But then he says, so Shakuni will play on my behalf. He says, no, this is between Kshatriyas. Your Shakuni is your uncle. How can I challenge him? As a king, if you challenge me, I will play with you, but not with Shakuni. He says, okay, I will play. But then again, he will, introduce another complication. He says, but on my behalf, Shakuni will put. I will be playing. It is just the same thing. He's tricking, cheating. This is where first cheating he starts. So he cheats and he wins. He takes away all their kingdom. And then he says, your wife is remaining. She is your property. You can give her. You can put her on the bet. If you win, you will get back everything. This is just to give an opportunity so you can play one more time. The same thing, crooked cheating. He loses Draupadi also. Now, the king is supposed to be like a father to the country, and he should take care of every citizen as his own child. But what does they do? He, along with his other Kaurava brothers and Karna and all, they make a plan and say, let's disrobe her. Now, she's our property. She's like a maid servant. Let's disrobe her. Very, the second most crooked thing a person can do. Like how this crooked Duryodhana was. And then they tried to disrobe him. We all know how Krishna protected Draupadi. The unlimited amount of cloth was there, and Dushasana could not disrobe her, could not remove the cloth. Meanwhile, Bhishma gets totally angry and he challenges Dhritarashtra. What is going on? In your assembly, you are the so-called king, and all this nonsense is going on. And he says, this is unacceptable. I will kill everyone. He says, Bhishma gets angry. Then Dhritarashtra says, okay, we'll make a compromise. Let's, abolish the whole thing. It's all over. Let's stop this. This is not going good. Let's give them back their kingdom to the Pandavas, and let's free Draupadi and everything. Let's finish the whole thing. Duryodhana was not satisfied. His whole plan was, he was almost there. Unnecessarily it was all losing. He said, okay, one last time we'll play. This time, they no need to even discuss what to bet. Very clearly, whoever loses should go to the forest in exile. That's all. Very simple condition. Again, he was challenged. Then again, he didn't know Yudhishthira. Okay, he accepts again. Again, unfortunately, they lose. And now Duryodhana becomes happy. Yes, you all have to go exile. And he also says, 1 year you should be Agnatavasa. So 12 years exile. And 1 year, nobody should be able to identify you. If you are identified, if somehow we come to know that this is where you are, you should be all in a hidden place. Again, it will add up. The condition is that another 12 years you have to go. And after that, again, 1 year of Agnatavasa. So Duryodhana was thinking, once I send them, I'll become the king. My, spies will be there all over. Easily we'll find them in that 1 year. And perpetually, we will say, oh, we found you, like a game, he thought. So he thought, okay, I couldn't kill them or destroy them. This way, completely banished them. So he thinks, okay, I have a good plan, and Yudhishthira accepts. Everything was very disappointing. This was complete cheating that Duryodhana did. So they go to the exile, and the last 1 year, Duryodhana, with all his attempts, he could not find. And at the end of 1 year, they reveal themselves. But then he will say, no, the date calculation, actually in software development also, we have this problem, the date calculation with time zones, right? Different time zones, and how many number of hours, days is always a problem. So he tried to, do some word jugglery. No, this actually, it was no, we found them the before day, it was not complete. Again, he tries to trick them. So this is all going too much. He's supposed to give back their Indraprastha to them, right? The condition was after 12 years, they come back, he should give them half the kingdom, it belongs to them. And then they go and they ask Duryodhana, okay, now why don't you give? No, he's saying, no, we didn't find this. The condition is invalid. They have to go again in exile. Then he says, okay, let's make an arrangement. If you don't want to give the whole thing, actually Krishna himself goes and he says, give them at least 5 villages. Right? These are Kshatriyas. See, Kshatriyas are trained. They have no other training. They're trained to protect the citizens. And how they live? By collecting tax. As simple as that. The Kshatriyas give protection, and the common people, they will earn whatever money. They will give some tax, and with the tax money, the Kshatriya maintains himself. So every Varna, there is a very clear indication. Like the Brahmana, he actually doesn't serve anybody. He serves only the Lord. So actually charity is given. Right? So it is, unfortunately nowadays it has become, you call a temple, I want to do this puja. This puja, $150, he will say. It is not actually that way. But nowadays things have changed. Brahmana, you give based on your ability, you give charity. If you're a king, the king gives sometimes 100,000 cows, gold and everything. If he's a very common, normal person, not very rich, he will give whatever, some grains and some charity, whatever he has. So Brahmana should accept like that. So like that, every Varna, there is a very clear identification in the Vedic system. And for Kshatriyas, they can't live, if they don't rule. So Krishna said, at least give 5 villages. Duryodhana is controlling the whole world. See how crooked he is. He could have given, right, 5 villages. Okay, some corner, remote village in Antarctica, he could have done if he was at least a little smart. He didn't do that. And he said, forget about 5 villages. I won't even give the amount of land that is, if you put a pin on the ground, the amount of space that the pin tip takes, even that much I won't give. And Krishna, understood this fellow is the most crooked. Now we have to fight because that is totally injustice, right? See, Kshatriya's business is also one thing. When do they attack? When do they, attack the neighboring kingdoms or neighboring area? Sometimes we see, the kings earlier times, they have been expanding their empire. They think it is like a personal status symbol. The more land I acquire, the more. Actually, no, that is not what it is. The Kshatriya's principle is always the same, to protect the citizens. Now, when a Kshatriya finds out that the neighboring kingdom, the king is not ruling properly, and the citizens are not happy because of the unruly king, because the king sometimes, they get intoxicated with power, and, they think I am supreme, and they don't take care of the citizens properly. They become drunkards or women hunters, and they do their own nonsense. People are, struggling, suffering, and they don't care. They don't care to provide the bare necessities. And if a Kshatriya, a true Kshatriya comes to know about this, then he is actually rightful to attack that kingdom, to remove that king who was not ruling properly, and to establish a very good kingdom so that the citizens can live properly. So this is also the duty of Kshatriya, not that, okay, I have been given this land, I will take care of these people nicely. Oh, the neighboring king is all bad and their people are suffering. Oh, what can be done? Bad karma, chod do. No. It's my duty, I have to attack and set, right? So now here is the thing, Arjuna and Pandavas were Kshatriyas, and Duryodhana turned out to be the most crooked ruler, the worst ruler. He's a total cheat. Now it is time to remove him and to establish a good kingdom. So now this is Arjuna's duty, and the war has been declared, and they all assemble in Kurukshetra, and they're facing each other. And because Duryodhana was the king, all the Krupacharya, Dronacharya, Bhishma, and all his uncles, everyone were in the kingdom, right? They were supporting him, and they were obligated to take his side only. So what happened? That means Arjuna's teachers, Arjuna's uncles, Arjuna's Pandava's grandparents, everyone were on the other side. And the war has been declared, and this verse, this Bhagavad Gita, happened on the battle of Kurukshetra. The scene is that the Pandavas and led by Arjuna, he was the top archer, right? And Krishna, there's other issue happened. Krishna, he said, okay, this is a family war, I won't participate. If somebody wants, they can take my all army, and I can be on one side, but he divides himself. But I won't fight. I will just be on their side. Duryodhana thinks this is a wonderful deal. Krishna is actually very powerful. Everyone knows how he killed Kamsa and all the demons, and he established Dwarka and everything. He's very powerful, and he has a very powerful army also. Very powerful. Nobody can imagine defeating the Yaduvamsha. So Duryodhana thinks this is a very good deal. Let me go and capture the Krishna's army. And there is also a nice pastime that happens. Krishna and Arjuna both go. And Duryodhana, being a puffed up person as he is, when he goes, actually Krishna was resting. So there were two places for him to sit. And there was a place to sit near his feet, or near his next to his bed, next to his head. He said, oh, why should I sit near the feet? I am not that low. I'm the king of the world. He goes and sits next to him. And then Arjuna comes. Later he sees, oh, Duryodhana is already waiting. But then Arjuna, he knows his position. He's the very great devotee of the Lord. He actually sits near the feet of the Lord. He says, my position is always at the feet of the Lord. Right? We also pray to the spiritual master. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale. Vishnu Padaya, at the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the real position of a devotee. As a servant, as a subordinate, taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So he goes, he sits there. Then, but Duryodhana thinks it doesn't matter. He came now, but I came first. I will get what I want. And then Krishna opens his eyes. Obviously, when you open eyes, you will see what is in front of you. Arjuna was sitting there. He says, oh, Arjuna, you are here. Very nice. What do you want? Tell me what you want. You have come for something, looks like. Duryodhana becomes panicked. Oh, hold on, Krishna, I am also here. I came first. Then he turns, looks at him and says, oh, you came first? But you sat somewhere there, I couldn't even see you. I saw Arjuna first. I will give him the chance. Duryodhana was perplexed. Arey, kya ho gaya? I came first, and what if Arjuna takes the army? Krishna, he anyway said, I won't fight. Now I am in trouble. He is almost sweating. He tried to protest, but you can't argue with Krishna. And Krishna had a very strong reason. He said, okay. And then Arjuna says, Krishna, as you know, this battle is happening. We need help. And you said you will. And Krishna reminds him, as I told, I have my whole army, but I won't fight. If you want, I can be. So do you want the whole army? It's a battle, right? You can take the army. Duryodhana is now sweating literally. Oh my God, gone. Chance is gone. Arjuna will take the whole army. What will I do? Krishna is anyway, he is not going to fight. And he tries to interrupt. He tries to protest. But Krishna, I came first. What is this you're giving him? He says, no. It is already settled. Arjuna should get the first chance. And then Arjuna says, Krishna, what will I do with the army? I want you to be on my side. He says, are you sure? I'm not going to fight. Are you sure you want, you won't really get any benefit out of me because I'm not fighting. I will just be with you. He says, that is fine, Krishna. I just want you to be on my side. Duryodhana feels so relieved. He thinks, what a fool this Arjuna is. Originally, I was to get this chance. I lost. He got one more chance. Second, though he came next, he could have taken. He didn't take. So internally, now he's very happy. Good. Let him continue to take that. And then but Krishna says, okay, you just want me. I feel very bad. You're taking me. I can't be of any help. At least, okay, I'll become your charioteer. And Duryodhana will think, that's okay, charioteer kya, that's such a menial thing, carrying the horses around. He said, that's fine. Then he asks, okay, so Duryodhana, what do you want? He says, what to do, Krishna? Now I have no option, right? Army is the only thing I can take, right? He says, yes, army is all yours. You want it? Yes, I'll take. So this way, Duryodhana got this. And now Arjuna is there fighting the battle. Krishna became his chariot driver. And this is the exact situation. After all this happened, they're in the battlefield, and Krishna is the chariot driver, and Arjuna is here, and Arjuna says, Krishna, I just want to see, please take me closer. I want to see a good Kshatriya. He has to be a strategist also, right? He has to make a plan. He wants to go closer and see who is where, what is going on. He has to get an understanding of the situation so that he can plan. But when he went closer, forget about the Kshatriya strategy of planning, he saw clearly his own grandfather Bhishma. Bhishma is so dear to him. Generally, I remember I saw a T-shirt in the store, like grandparent T-shirt. It said, grandparents, and there's a definition given. Grandparent equal to dad without rules. So, grandparent is like a dad only, very guiding and everything, but no rules. Papa, if you say to go to the father and say, I want second candy, no, bad for teeth, this, that. Grandparent, second candy, second, take 3, he'll give like this, right? And same thing, Matajis also don't feel bad. There's another T-shirt. It says, grandma equal to mom without rules, right? So this is the affectionate relationship, right? The children and grandparents. And Bhishma was even more affectionate to the Pandavas. Why? Because their father Pandu, he passed away in the very childhood only, when they were very small children. So when the father is not there, naturally there is more affection, right? Because the Kauravas, their father was there, they were all good. So Bhishma had even more soft corner. The small Pandavas, young children, and they're always subjected to the crooked nature of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So he was even more very affectionate and caring. So there was so much strong, loving bond between Arjuna and Bhishma, right? And then he saw that his dear grandfather, he's on the opposite side. And what is this? This is a war. I am here with weapons. He is also here with weapons. He's like, what is going on? Now I have to attack him? I have to kill my grandfather with my arrows? He just couldn't comprehend. And then he looks around. He sees his own teacher, Dronacharya. A teacher is like worth worshipping. Guru Deva Bhavaha. Guru is as good as God. And now I have to attack him. And he sees all other people, great saintly, great warriors. Kripacharya was there. And then he sees his own brothers also, cousin brothers. See, these Pandavas, they were actually very, very kind-hearted. They're actually pure devotees of the Lord. They don't have any misgivings. So they were very forgiving. They didn't really have anything against the Kauravas also. They were okay. They were not coming with a revenge. If they would have given 5 villages, they would have happily ruled. They would not have the grudge in the heart. Oh, 12 years we had to suffer. 1 year, he did this, he did that. They were not like that. They were very self-realized. They were happy. One of the things of self-realized people is Atma Rama. They're very happy with whatever they have because they have the understanding everything is sanctioned by Krishna. Everything is given by Krishna. Who am I to question? Lord knows better than me. Simple understanding they have. And they will be very happy. And so he was not very, when he saw his own Duryodhana and all the 100 Kauravas also, he only looked at them as his own brothers. Oh, my own brothers are here. Now Arjuna was, forget about strategy to attack them, because otherwise if they were other, he will see, oh, he is a very strong warrior, I have to attack him this way, he is a very weak, we can do. So all that strategy is gone and total emotional feelings came over. And he was completely baffled. What is this? I have to kill my own people? And then he starts speaking. Towards the middle of the first chapter, he starts saying Krishna, and because Krishna was right there as a chariot driver, right? He starts saying, Krishna, what is this going on here? Don't you see something wrong is happening here? I'm totally lost. These are my own grandparents, my teachers and my uncles and my brothers. They all are worthy, getting my respect. How can I kill them? Isn't it sinful to kill one's own grandfather, to kill one's own teacher? Those who deserve to be, respected and worshipped as good as God, and going and killing them, isn't that sinful? Right? It is a gross sin, right? Trying to kill, our own family members is a very big sin. So it's a very strong argument Arjuna made, very valid. Anybody who listens, they will think, yeah, that is true. How can you kill your own grandparents? And it's a family war. He suggested, why Krishna, why fight for this? That's okay, they want everything, let them keep. Sometimes in family matters it happens, right? Within the family only something is happening, somebody will compromise. Okay, that's okay. Within the family, if not me, them, let them keep, like that, right? So Arjuna says that also. These people deserve my respect and worship and I'm going to kill them. Isn't this sinful? Then he is willing to forgive them. And then he brings up one more point. He says, all the elderly people, all the great warriors on the other side, if we start fighting and killing them, and if all the elderly people of a civilization are lost, who will upkeep the culture? Like for example, even today, nowadays, we are all in America. If you are moving a house or some ritual we are doing, what we'll do, first thing we'll call our mom or, aunt, what to do, we are moving. Right? The guidance is given by the elders. Oh, they'll say, do this puja, do like this, do like that. And you will see, especially in weddings, the mother and father are very excited, but they completely lean on the elder people of the family. What ritual to do, when to do what. So like this, the family traditions are actually maintained by the elderly people of the society. So Arjuna had another valid point. If killing all these elderly people, what will happen to the culture? Our Vedic culture has to be retained by them. And what will happen to the society? The men, they're all fighting in the war. If they're killed, who will protect the women? The purpose of the Vedic society, the women has to be always protected. And if they are not protected and they are exploited, all kinds of unwanted population will be filled up in the world and this will become a chaotic place. So Arjuna had all these arguments and then he says, I don't want to fight Krishna. I want to give up everything. I want to go to the forest and hide. Krishna says, what are you talking, Arjuna? How can you say, speak like this? You're speaking like a coward. Only a coward will say, I won't fight, I will run away. People won't think that, oh, you're a very great, magnanimous soul. Right now from Kurukshetra, if you run away, you won't be known as a very great soul. You will only be known as a very big coward who ran away from a big battle. He says, give up all this, very, pity, kind of a pitiable thoughts. Just give up and start fighting. Again, Arjuna says, but Krishna, how can I kill my own people? This doesn't sound right. So what was happening? Both were at a friendly level. There is an argument going on. So Prabhupada says, between friends, there is only argument. One argument leads to, what does an argument lead to? Any idea? Does it lead to the solution? Does it lead to a problem? What does an argument lead to? The end result of an argument? It is said leads to another argument. That's what happens, right? When we argue, argument can go on forever. So between friends, it is only argument. There is no solution. So now Arjuna figured out that this is not going to help. Krishna will say, no, you have to fight. I will keep saying, no, I don't want to fight. Now, how will you solve this? But then, Arjuna knows that Krishna is the Supreme Lord also. Though he is acting as a friend, doesn't mean I keep arguing like a friend. Now he realized that and let me take shelter of him. So here in this verse, Krishna now, that's why Prabhupada said this is a turning point. Arjuna now changes his whole perspective. How his own attitude towards Krishna is actually his cousin also, right? Very close cousin. So that friendly talk and friendliness and cousin, the whole thing is just, it was like an argument. Hey, let's do this here. No, let's do like that. No, let's do it. It will go on forever. He says, Krishna, he now confesses a couple of things, very important things he confesses. He says, Karpanya dosha. He says, Karpanya means miserly behavior. He figured out that my behavior is miserly. Why? I'm a Kshatriya, my job is to fight. At the same time, I'm arguing I won't fight. So this miserly character has come into me. That means I'm not utilizing my full potency. What is a miser? Miser is one who has some ability, but he won't utilize it. A classic example, miser, he has a lot of money. He only logs into the bank account or he only checks how much balance I have. He's very happy. But then, should I put ghee on the roti? No. Don't put ghee. Unnecessary waste of money. Just give dry roti and he will swallow with water. Right? This is a classic example of a miser. So he won't utilize what he has. So in the same way, Kshatriya, he has his ability to fight and protect the citizens and establish righteousness. But he is saying, I don't want to fight. So he's become a miser here. And then this dosha has come. And then he's saying, now my swabhava, my real nature, I am not acting on that. And he says, Prachami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha. I am completely lost in this, confused in this process of my doing my duty, my dharma. Please speak. And then he says, Shreyas, please tell me what is ultimately good for me. I am thinking, what is the short-term benefit for me? Let me not kill them, let me not feel bad about my grandparents will die and this and that. So please tell what is ultimately good for me. And then he says, Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. So now he's saying, Shishyasteham, I am becoming your disciple. I am surrendering to you. Tvam prapannam, I am surrendering to you. I am becoming your disciple. I am no more friend. I don't want to talk like a friend anymore. So I know you are superior. You will definitely be able to instruct me. You are actually the Supreme Lord yourself. So enough of this being on the friendly platform. I will come back to my original platform. I am actually your surrendered soul. I become your disciple. Now he says, please instruct me. So this is the turning point. Arjuna is now becoming a disciple of Krishna. So what does a disciple, what does a spiritual master do? A friend might say, do like this. But if you say, please instruct me, then he will go to the foundational principles. Yes, and he will totally instruct him so that his whole confusion will be cleared. And Prabhupada is saying in the purport, okay, this is all good to know, this all happened, Arjuna was baffled, Krishna is becoming his teacher. Maybe this is all good. It is something happening, history is a story, we will listen. Prabhupada says, no, who needs a spiritual master? Arjuna was in complete perplexities. So whoever is in perplexity needs a spiritual master. But one would think, okay, Arjuna was in perplexity. No, he has to kill his own family members. For me, I'm in good terms. I speak to them nicely and I'm not fighting my own family members. I don't need, one might think. No, you might not be fighting your family members, but perplexity is still there. Are we not perplexed? In the news when we see California is running out of water, are we not perplexed? Right? Recently, another email came from the electric whatever facility company, how to handle wildfires, wildfire preparedness. Even from Xfinity, from the internet company also is saying wildfire preparedness kit. He's saying our access points are there, you can access internet. Now isn't this a perplexity? Recently when I was talking to India also, my mother was asking, so this is the season, right? These wildfires will come, she's reminding me, right? Because every year this is happening. And last year, most of you might have experienced, the limits, even close to Fremont, Milpitas and all, the fires were close. We were all in these yellow, orange zones that, pack your bags, keep few clothes ready, fill the gas tank, be ready to run away, right? Are we not in perplexities? We don't have to be on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Unfortunately, our life has become that day to day is a battlefield of Kurukshetra. We're taking the freeway and going, you don't know how many drunk drivers are there, whether you will actually reach your destination also. It is so unfortunate. And in a year, around 50,000 deaths happen on the freeways, on road accidents. So if you go on looking like this, actually there are only perplexities. That's why sometimes people come to temple to be, freed from the perplexity. Oh, Krishna, let me go some peaceful time in the temple. Spend some time, have darshan, chant Hare Krishna. So perplexities are there. There is perplexity, eternal perplexity of, there is this birth, death, old age, disease. If you think about it very seriously, somebody says, are you okay that one fine day your friend is going to die, your parents are going to die, your children will die, your wife will die, you'll go crazy. Hey, don't talk all this. It is a perplexity, but it is a fact. So much so that they say, oh, don't speak, this is all inauspicious talk. You can't say, what is inauspicious? It's objective reality, right? What is inauspicious in reality? If you take a stone, say it will fall on the floor. Oh, very inauspicious. Why do you talk about things breaking? No, it is a fact. It is objective reality. So if you just analyze our life, it is full of perplexities, starting from our job, our health, our relations, our retirement, our children, their education, the expenses, the gas price, everything is a perplexity, isn't it? Every day in the news, market is collapsing, market is going up, he's saying he's attacking, somebody is not attacking, somebody is joining some other union. You don't know, there is full of perplexity. So sometimes best is not watch news. Actually, they say, counseling, they say, if you're getting too much, please don't watch news too much because you'll get totally perplexed. Just watch 5 minutes and turn off the TV, turn off your news channel. So if you think like that, we are all full of perplexities. So then it comes to the point that it's not only Arjuna, but all of us need an instruction from a spiritual master who can help us navigate these perplexities and ultimately achieve an ultimate benefit of human life. As Prabhupada is saying in the purport, we are all also can either be a Kripana, not just Arjuna, if we don't solve these perplexities of this human life, these miseries that we are facing, and ultimately the miseries of birth, death, old age, disease, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, these are perplexities. If you analyze, you read little bit Vedic scripture, you understand little bit karma, you will know that you will have to take birth again to face the reactions of what you have taken in this life. And if you just analyze, again birth, I thought, okay, I got a job, I'm settled, I'm all good. Again, I have to study. Again, I have to study, give 10th exam, pass, graduate, apply for a good college, get a good job, and make sure they don't lay me off, work very hard, right? Recently, a layoff happened in, recent big companies also, Netflix, they have laid off total 500 people. All big paying jobs, good companies, suddenly job loss. Think about their situation, how to make payments and all. So if you just analyze little bit, the fact that you will have to take birth again and go through this whole cycle is a big perplexity. So then what is Prabhupada saying? What are the Shastras saying? The Shastras are saying that the human being can solve these perplexities. The human being has an ability to solve all these perplexities. And if the human being does not utilize his ability, what is his ability? Our intellectual capability, our intellectual understanding. Human being is also another animal, but we are different from all the animals, right? We can all civilize and make a society and make advancement. So if we don't utilize all our abilities to make spiritual progress, to solve these perplexities of life, we are also Kripana. It is like the same, having a lot of money and not using it, having a lot of intellect but not using it to solve these problems is also a Kripana. So, not only Arjuna is a Kripana, if you analyze a little bit, we are all also Kripana. We don't know how to solve these problems of life. So, this instruction of Bhagavad Gita is 100% applicable not only Arjuna, to all of us. Not only people who are spiritually interested, not only people who are interested in some mythology or history or Mahabharata. It is for everybody. Sometimes people say, I am not interested in temple and all these things. You can go, I am going to hiking or biking or something. Well, it doesn't matter you're interested or not. These perplexities are there for you also. Do you want to go through all these difficulties, right? So the solution is, Shishyas Teham Swabhiman Tvam Prapannam. We have to surrender to the spiritual master. The supreme spiritual master is Krishna. Right? It is said, Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Now, Prabhupada in the purport, another place he says, you surrender to either Krishna or his devotee, who is in the disciplic succession. That is where an Acharya comes into picture. If you surrender to them, then they will be able to give proper instructions through which you can solve all the perplexities of life. And we are here today in this temple. We are so fortunate. We have Swami Prabhupada as a spiritual master, giving, explaining all these instructions and guiding all the members of the society exactly as per the Shastra, exactly as per Bhagavad Gita. And all we have to do is take his shelter, follow his instructions, follow his guidance. Prabhupada is personally living. One might think, well, Prabhupada ji, he was passed away in 1977, he is not there now, right? They can say. So the same question was asked by a reporter to Prabhupada. It was asked, Swamiji, what will happen after you die? And the Prabhupada, very valid question, right? A person is there, he is doing, after he dies, what will happen? Then Prabhupada said, I shall never die. And devotees were very enthused, but there has to be some practical reasoning also. Well, you can say you won't die, but what happens after you die? He says, I shall live through my books and you shall utilize. See? So Prabhupada made himself available in his books, in his instructions. There was another memory where Prabhupada, he recorded bhajans. And he asked one of his disciples to play the bhajan. So they play the kirtan, Prabhupada's voice only. And then he also sang that same bhajan. And after that he asked, is there any difference? What you played in the audio tape and what I said, was there any difference? It's the same, right? So Prabhupada made himself available. He got every word of his recorded. There are hundreds, thousands of hours of recorded lectures of Prabhupada. Prabhupada has written so many books. So Prabhupada is personally available in all his books. He is living. And it is not just a sentimental statement, practical proof, practical evidence of the Hare Krishna movement today after 50 years of establishing, if it is still going on, it is because Prabhupada is personally living in his books and is guiding them. So we are all very fortunate that we have access to such a great Acharya who made himself available even after leaving the physical body, and we can take advantage by following his books, by following his instructions, by participating in the various programs that Swami Prabhupada has created for the Hare Krishna movement. So I request all of you to please take advantage. If you don't have Bhagavad Gita, please get this Bhagavad Gita. We have it in the gift shop and read it. You are directly in touch with the spiritual master. Just like when we read Bhagavad Gita, we are directly in touch with Krishna. When we follow Prabhupada's instruction, when we read his books, when we read his explanation, we are directly hearing from him. So this Bhagavad Gita is very relevant, very important to all of us. And let's all take advantage, take shelter of Swami Prabhupada, and solve the perplexities of our life. Okay? So I'll stop here. Devotees are distributing the beads. So what we will do, we will all chant one round Hare Krishna mantra. Why are we chanting? Because it is mentioned in the Vedic scriptures that by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, all knowledge will be revealed within the heart. So the process is a without process and within process, a process from outside and process from inside also. So when we chant Hare Krishna, the knowledge will be revealed, and when we read Bhagavad Gita and the scriptures, the knowledge will become more understanding. It is a very parallel, process. So we'll all chant Hare Krishna mantra together. This is one of the primary instructions given by Swami Prabhupada also. Again, not that he made it up. It is taken from the Vedic scriptures only. It is said, Nato paratara upaya sarva vedeshu drishyate. Iti shodashaka namna. This 16-worded mantra that we are chanting. Nato paratara upaya. You won't find a better solution. Sarva vedeshu drishyate. Even if you go through all the Vedas. Right? So powerful Hare Krishna mantra is. So we'll all chant now. Before we chant, we will chant the Guru Pranam mantra and Prabhupada and Panchatattva mantra, and then we'll chant the Hare Krishna mantra together. So if possible, we can display it on the screen, the Guru Pranam mantra. So please repeat after me. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we'll all chant together. It is said the most important thing while chanting is to hear the mantra very clearly, and we should chant in a prayerful mood. We are praying to the Lord. We should keep that in mind and we should hear. Okay? So let's all chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna